Hot Mike.
Hey guys, happy Friday.
Welcome, people.
Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you had a good week. We did. We had a very nice week. The weather was really nice for us till the last couple days. Kind of got crappy. But hey, we made it through another week, and hope you guys are doing well. Please, if you have anything that you want to talk about, anything you want to maybe get some feedback on, feel free to post in to the
Please turn down
comments. Please post in the comments. Remember, anything you post under your name will be seen by anybody on Facebook that is following this program. If you want to be anonymous, you can call in to 267-737-8031. We have a guest speaker tonight, which is Richard Pappy Parker in the house.
Big man. I'm just filling in. And remember, tonight we're going to focus on religion and politics.
Yes, we're not going to be talking religion. We're not going to be talking.
Oh, man.
Actually, there's going to be a small little tidbit of information.
She tricked me.
Today. I just
said it was going to be a politic night.
happened to get some information today, and it's kind of exciting information that we received today, and that is through a political feed. It was posted today on Living Hopeful, so you might want to check it out after the show as well. I'm just pulling it up as we speak. But if you guys have had a tough week and you just need to talk about it, please feel free to pop it into the comments. We are here to talk about it if that's what you want to talk about.
Hello, Larry. Hello, Fred. Hello, Liz.
We are not professionals.
I am.
We are here as life experience. I have had some certifications in coaching. Do have a CRS. So most of my information that I share is from life experience. That's, I think, better than any textbook that you can get. Just want to go over something that I saw today, which I am ecstatic about because this is something that can cause a lot of problems with people getting into treatment and the families as well wondering how their treatment is going. So give me a minute. And this is just going from an article that I found today. Legislation to help residents struggling with drug addictions passes House. The House this week approved 3 bills designed to assist Pennsylvania residents struggling with drug addictions and help save lives. House Bill 220 would clarify that a person cannot be denied treatment at a public or private rehabilitative facility based solely on a negative drug test. Facilities may still deny treatment for other than clinical reasons to those with a negative test. The bill was introduced in response to a case in which a young man overdosed after using an opiate under the belief that a positive drug test was required to be accepted for treatment. And that is House Bill 220. We also have House Bill 741, which this is amazing, would require drug recovery houses to notify a resident's emergency contact when the resident is evicted, self-discharges, or leaves and fails to return. That is through Justin's Law. Was prompted by another case of a young man who overdosed and died after leaving a recovery house without his family's knowledge. Similarly, House Bill 944 would require a treatment facility to notify a patient's emergency contact when the patient leaves against medical advice. All three bills will now be considered by the Senate. So anything you can do to help pass them bills, get in there and help get them passed, because there's nothing scarier than going into a family meeting and hear that your loved one may have already left and we wouldn't know.
Well, as far as like rehabs and all, they have to go up against the HIPAA laws, whereas a recovery house doesn't fall under that same criteria.
Right. However, these bills are going to be canceling that HIPAA law out for those two particular things.
For rehabs?
For emergency contact only. That doesn't necessarily mean the emergency contact is going to be a spouse, a parent, or family member. That could be Tom, Dick, or Harry that they met on the street. So whatever emergency contact they have can be notified of those situations.
I have to get a better angle so my belly doesn't stick out as much.
Yeah, so
Seat go any longer?
I just thought that that was something important to share, because it is
Oh, there we go.
important for us
Much
to hopefully get those passed. They're important, and I thought it was important to share as well. But we don't have a speaker this week, but next week we have an amazing speaker. Mickey Kessensinger will be here from Emily House. We are going to be discussing recovery houses. And I'm looking forward for her being on the show and maybe helping people understand the process after rehab and recovery houses. So looking forward to that. Hey, Liz. Hey, Larry. Hey, Fred.
Yeah, recovery house is big business nowadays, and
Yep.
sadly, not all of them are run on the straight and narrow as they should be. Like Mickey runs very good houses. I mean, she's in the area local. You know,
She's very well known.
facilitator houses, and she could really shed some light on what's going on, because I don't think they're regulated as much as they should be. A lot of these recovery houses. I mean, there's too many people that have no business being in the recovery field. Just open up houses just for to make money.
Yes, a lot of this has a tendency to be money makers and not hope makers and
We
recovery.
know many people with recovery houses that are like straight up awesome people.
Yes.
Please don't think we're referring to any of you. You know who you are.
Yes.
We're talking about the ruthless.
And I'm not going to say that even though they're not on the up and up, they don't have the RHA behind them, which is the Recovery House Association, where they do have to follow regulations that were set for the recovery houses. My understanding of that. If you want recovery, no matter where you go, you're going to find recovery. In the worst house, in the best house. It really doesn't matter. It's a matter of you wanting it. And as long as you want it, and as long as you do the work, you'll get there. I would say when you are looking into a recovery house, and this is just my side of it, is to look at their alumni, see what their alumni groups are up to. What are they doing after you move from a recovery house to a sober house? Are they still meeting? Do they still have a big group meeting for barbecues, bowling, all that fun stuff? But we're not going to talk about that tonight, because we're going to save that for next week when we get into that with Mickey, and hopefully she can shed some light for any family members that are considering that for their loved one, or their loved one is considering that for themselves. So with that being said, we're just going to save that, put that on the back burner. But anybody that has anything that they want to share, please share. You can either call in or pop it into the comments. And yeah.
I heard an interesting fact today that came out in the news there regarding marijuana, cannabis, and it's used by women during pregnancy, whereas now it's been proven to cause low birth weights in babies, some other complications. Because apparently, a lot of women with this, this whole medical marijuana movement going on and such. Everybody's saying marijuana is the miracle drug, whatever. A lot of women are taking it for like nausea and such, to get through the pregnancy, and now they're finding it's got some ill effects, on the child and such. So, it's something to look into. I mean, they're doing more and more research now on this, where you would think all this would have been done in the past before all this legalization, and it's just gotten so big and up. And, it's you would think they would have known all this by now. Mm-hmm. They're just starting to study it now. It's like they already opened the barn doors. I mean, they should have had all this looked into.
But like other things, it's, on a pack of cigarettes, do not use if you're pregnant. Do not drink if you're pregnant. Like, it's...
Oh, and that's another thing. Did you hear of the new administration? I won't say any names because there'll be politics. But apparently, President Biden is trying to
I thought
pressure...
you said no names.
Well, let's not make pretend. President Biden is he's pushing big tobacco into lowering the nicotine levels in cigarettes so to make them less addictive.
But it's, I don't think
And
it's,
he may push to eliminate menthol cigarettes altogether.
but I don't believe nicotine is one of the major factors in an addictive chemical of a cigarette as it is sugar, isn't it?
That was a study done years ago.
Stop.
Whereas one of the inert ingredients in cigarettes is sugar. They would regulate the levels of sugar in cigarettes, whereas it being a food stuff, they really didn't have to list that, because when sugar burns, it gives off other chemicals, which can add to the addiction. That was a big study years ago done. So that's one thing they would get around by regulating the levels of sugar in the tobaccos. But nicotine is the main component of addiction in cigarettes. I mean, that's why everybody turns to vaping and they adjust their nicotine levels, this and that. And the vaping industry is under a lot of pressure too now.
Right.
A lot of banning.
But yeah,
There's a lot of banning going on.
a lot of banning on the vaping, and now they have another thing. It's a tab you put in your mouth instead of chew, instead of smoking, instead of vaping. Now there's this tab you can put on your tongue or under your tongue
They've had that forever. And toothpicks.
and toothpicks. Yeah, it's crazy what they come up with just
And
to
suppositories, you use them during work and nobody will realize,
yeah.
I made that
I'll
up.
pass, thank
Maybe
you.
that's a new market plan.
I'll pass. Thank you so much.
Smoke it.
Yeah. And just to go over, like, I'm following a lot of pages. I just started following this one page, and the biggest thing they're asking is, it's crazy, I know, but the biggest question they're asking right now is, my spouse, my boyfriend, my partner was cheating on me.
Bastard.
Should I forgive them? I don't know the answer, but I know when I went into meeting with our pastor for when we got married, cheating was like, sorry, no, you cheat, you're done. That was just me. And I know
I forgave you that time I walked in on you with the 3 Hooters girls.
yeah. But I mean, that was
all.
something that him and I both were like, he almost didn't marry us because we were like, cheating is like, that's, out of bounds for me. That's sorry, but it's not going to happen. But but I'm seeing that a lot lately on a lot of pages that I follow. It's
I don't think people take marriages seriously nowadays. I
I
got the whole people thing. We've been married 30 years. I mean, God, we've been together, what, 37?
yes, and it's just crazy that seems to be the topic of a lot of pages
Right.
this week, just this week alone, like popping up all over the place. And another thing is the monster in their attic. It's they don't understand what we mean by monster. And I just wanted to touch base on that because I don't think someone that is using and me not being in recovery, you may be able to answer that better than I can. But I think the monster in them is something that we see. I don't think they always see it themselves because, they're high. They're trying to get something, manipulate us out of money, a car, food,
And like we always say, we're standing back and looking at them with a healthy brain, whereas them even looking at themselves while they're in the throes of addiction. They're not looking at themselves in that same kind of light. I mean, it's a different driving force,
Right. And it's just funny because that's been also coming up a lot. And I think it's more on the parent side of the question being asked. And I just see it as, our loved one is suffering from addiction and they're getting sick and they need help and they need money to get the drug to make them feel better again. And they're coming at us because they're sick and they want it and they don't feel, I myself feel that they don't feel they're asking for anything that's crazy, but the way it comes across from them is nasty and mean and sometimes getting, violent. And I don't know if they realize that they're doing that at the time because they're sick and they need to get something to make them feel better.
A lot of times they're trying to inflict guilt on us to, move our hand to do certain things, try to play upon our guilt and such. I mean, you become very creative when you're desperate, and you have to have what you have to have. I mean, you'll go to all lengths.
What does a normal person do when,
human nature's pretty like that. I mean, it not only has to be addiction. I mean,
right. Because if you're struggling to make your mortgage or your car payment, especially right now today with this COVID crap and, that $1,400 stimulus is not helping people that are 4 months behind on their mortgage when their mortgage is $1,400 a month, and now they're 6 months behind because they haven't been working because of COVID. So, the normal person would get desperate.
Sure.
And,
when normal people, or even children, when they're young, all the other kids have a certain game or whatever on the block. They don't have it. And then they start telling you, you're making them look like they're poor or an introvert. People think we're poor. I mean, they'll play us
right
to get what they want, then make it feel guilty.
So it's just...
My kid was the last one on the block to get a video game.
Yeah. And it's just weird that just seems to be a topic that keeps coming up often in the feeds that I'm following, that
right.
They want to know how to determine the monster from their child. Like, they see their child in front of them, they see their spouse in front of them, they see their partner in front of them, but that's not what's spewing out of their mouths. It's something deep, dark, and ugly. And, that's when we have to try our best to separate the monster from the person. And that's
It's
hard.
hard to do. Hard to do. I mean,
It's very hard to
especially
do.
it could have been going on for years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people just get numb to it. Just
Yeah. Especially when that's spewing out of their mouth. Like, once it's out, you can never take it back. You may find forgiveness for it, but it still sits there. It's not something that you forget.
right.
It's just something that you learn to live with and accept, I guess. You just end up accepting that, okay, at that time they were in their addiction. And that's hard, the forgiveness part of it. Oh my gosh, I can't think of the words.
Label.
No, the amends part.
Oh, well, you're getting your steps there.
You know, you make that amends, and that's great. And I love that you make the amends and there is forgiveness. But, you know, when you start seeing things going back to trigger you, like, are they doing that? Are they slipping?
Oh, yeah,
Are
you start
they-
seeing familiar behaviors and all. I mean,
And then-
first thing you think of.
Then those triggers start coming back, and those little things that you've forgiven and has been said, you know, it all comes boiling up again. And that's hard, because you need to know that an important part of all of this is being able to leave the past behind you. And that's great, but sometimes that past comes boiling back and can get pretty ugly in conversations.
Right. So I almost, sorry, I'm not fun, but I always remember that joke. My wife would have been a good archaeologist because she's always good at digging up the past. sorry, I take it more serious.
Liz, I have
Chris.
no idea. I doubt it. I think they're trying to open everything up. They're opening it
I read something today
slowly.
about a fourth stimulus. I read something today. I didn't really read into it, but
Hey.
it could be on the back burner there, Liz. I did see something today.
Hey, I'll take it. Sorry, but if they're not going to open us up and get us back to work and get people, you know, getting back to life, they're going to raise our toilet paper and our paper towels and our napkins and our tissues again. So, hey, open us up. That's what I'm saying. But, yeah, it's just, I mean, it's just crazy how I can go through these pages and see that it seems to all be the same thing at the same time. Whether it's a parent group, a family group, or whether it's somebody struggling with, yes, Lar, show me the money, yes. Whether, you know, it's a recovery page or not. It always seems to be hand in hand. They seem to be discussing the same things. So I don't know why that is, but you know, it's crazy that the parents are feeling the same way as those that are in recovery or those that are still struggling in their active use. So kind of crazy that that's been coming on the feeds lately. But
You can see all different kinds of strange things coming on the feed with all this, these people and all this solitude or whatever you want to call it. They're just sitting there. I mean, they're sitting in their homes. They're getting wrapped up in their own heads. Their depression's taking over.
yeah,
know.
and relapse is really, and we keep saying this, but it's true. The relapse is getting really bad.
Getting bad. I mean, they're taking other things like this online gambling's getting out of control.
Yeah.
I mean,
We can't go to the casino, so let's just put it on our phone.
right? Jeez, Louise.
That's just crazy. Just feeding the addiction that's so strong out there right now. But we haven't done this in a while because we've had speakers and we've been pretty hot topics and
Hot topic.
but this is April 23rd. This is the sesh book. It's called Keep Coming Back. And I'm just going to do this because today is the day. But I'm also seeing on a lot of these pages, like, a lot of people that are supposed to be there supporting one another are really getting harsh and nasty and mean. And it's sad because we're all there. We've all been there. And we forget, how it was in the beginning. We forget when our loved ones are doing well that we were in the same place and the same hurt and the same fear that they were in the beginning. And what do? Do I throw them out? I can't do tough love. I can't just, stop loving them. And people that have been in it for a while, they just seem to be getting, throw them out, kick them out, It's so hard, especially when it's your spouse. The spouse is a whole different ballgame because the spouse is the person that is helping you pay the mortgage, maybe taking the mortgage money. They help with the bills. They don't help with the bills. It's, just throw them out. You may have kids that you're dealing with. Where do you place them? Can you afford the mortgage? Can you, live in a house that your partner has been helping you support? So I think it's really sad that this is happening. Versus an in-person meeting where I think people have a lot of moderators that tend to bring it back in and point out.
Most definitely. I mean, the in-person meetings can't compare to the Zoom stuff.
Right.
You just don't have that feeling, that same feeling.
But not even the Zoom meetings. These are just like pages that I'm following this one page. I won't put the program out there because, not all of them are that nasty, but some nasty.
On some of these pages, I don't
comments.
feel have any moderators on them.
Right.
So I have the comments that, is there a moderator on this page? I can't believe this happy stuff you put out there. I have to watch my
But then again,
happy horse shit. I almost said sorry. That they're posted on there. It's preposterous. Some of
Right.
them they're saying like, "Are you kidding me? You're giving advice like that? Like no, there's no way."
right. But even still, I have a few pages that I just share on, and when this first happened, I was just lost. I was like every other parent, every other spouse, every other family member out there that didn't know where to turn, didn't know what to do. And the overdoses were just crazy. So I wanted to get information, and I did see some pages, so I started a page called Overdose Awareness. And I'm grateful that my loved one is in recovery and has been in long-term, what I consider long-term. But I didn't see that in the beginning. I didn't see that hope. I didn't see that future for my loved one. So I created that page to hopefully get people talking so I could understand more and, make sure I was doing the right thing and getting the right help that they needed, not me, because in the beginning it wasn't about me, it was about my loved ones. So I can't be on it 24 hours a day. Shut up. I know I'm on it a lot, but we can't monitor everything, especially if we're a person that is working, a person that is running a household, a person that is, caring for a loved one, an elderly person. We can't be there 24 hours. And I understand that. I get it. And I know that a lot of these pages do have a lot of people helping them out. But, and I'm not nasty about it, but I do bring it to people's attention that, I think that's pretty harsh. We've been there, we've done that. And they're looking for some support and some suggestions, and people are just like, you're an idiot, and like, oh God, you just don't want that. That's not something that you want. So I'm just putting that out there. So I'm reading from the Sesh book, which this book is one book that has helped me a great deal.
Pony poop. Pony poop. I'm a 300-pound truck driver, Larry. What are you trying to do to me?
But this is something that I think is so important, because there are several different programs out there for the person that is in recovery that hasn't made it to recovery yet, and the family members as well. This is the Naranon program that wrote the Sesh book, and it's just stories that families have shared from their experiences. So I'm going to give this a read. I'm going to try and change it up a little bit so it makes sense to everybody. I used to make agreements with the addict thinking that I was helping them. In reality, I was trying to manipulate them into recovery. I tried to keep them off the streets by offering to pay their rent if they would go to meetings every day, and offering to take them to the meetings. Of course, they agreed to go along with my demands in order to get the money. It did not work, and now I know why. I should have let them do it for themselves. The situation I find myself in reminds me of the need to be constantly learning the messages of the program. One fellow member who had recently started attending the program said they had hoped they would not be doing this for the rest of their life. They now realize this might be the case. I have had this thought too. What is the alternative? To slide back into the complete and devastating darkness that once controlled my life? No, I do not want nor desire that. I have a sister who was a drug user when she was young. When I spoke with my father about my daughter's addiction and situation, he said, I could still cry thinking about your sister. This was almost 35 years after she stopped using. Of course, I know he still suffers so much because he has never gone to a 12-step program. Then I thought, this is the reason why I keep coming back. I am sure that I need to keep coming back. And for the thought for today, the help and comfort I receive from the members in this program cannot be measured. This is truly a new and better way to live. You cannot travel on the path until you become the path itself. That reading is by Buddha. So,
Rita, meter maid.
And that's why I do keep coming back to my family group, is because we tend to forget where we were when we first found out about our loved ones' addiction. We tend to, forget where we were when we first walked into the rooms. I know that I walked into the room and said, not my problem, not my, issue. I have a life outside of this and I'm not going to change. And I keep coming back. I keep going back. And in the beginning, I didn't know why. I had no idea why I was coming back. He would say, why are you going? It ain't helping you. But I'm still 5.5 years here. And I just want to help the next person. I want to help the next parent, the next spouse, the next, brother or sister that doesn't understand what roller coaster they may be getting onto. They don't know if they're buying a ticket for the ride or they're buying the wristband and going to be on that ride for a while. So.
Ooh, there's another one. Mm-hmm. I didn't write that one down. That's a good. I like that.
But that it's scary. It's very scary today. I think the scariest part is not having these in-person meetings because I don't know. It just doesn't seem personal.
Yeah, you don't have that same sense of camaraderie.
Right.
And that good feeling, that comfort, being amongst your friends and your peers that understand you and what you're going through. It's just not the same in this type of format.
Right. However, I think a lot of more people are joining in because they can be anonymous and hide their faces, hide their names.
Yeah. Well, I try to give this a little levity in this show. I mean, it's serious business. But we always say, it don't have to be all doom and gloom. So I try to lighten up a little bit, try to make it feel a little bit more personable.
Yeah. And you do. I mean, you do.
Instead of just seeing a bunch of squares on your on your phone, like some postage stamp faces of like 10 people on there. Like, oh.
Oh,
This
crap.
way you can see the whole me on the big screen.
Yeah, it's just, it's hard when you're not that connected or, I don't know. It's just a different feeling. And, that was his reading. It was not a recovery. But it's just important that we reach out and talk to each other because, I mean, we're the connection. We're the ones that...
Well, sure. It's like you said, it's not like you could go to your sister or your brother or your neighbor or a friend at work. Because if they don't understand the ramifications of recovery and what it entails, they're not going to understand what you're going through. No. And you know that, so that's why you're not sharing it with them. Mm-hmm. With here, you can share your feelings and such.
Yeah.
It's like I said, everywhere I go, I always try to interject what I do into the conversation as much as I can. And 9 out of 10 times, man, the person comes back and says, I know exactly. I'm going through it myself. My son's in recovery. I'm in recovery. It's just amazing how many people out there, and like, it's just not something you share with anybody. And especially now with this COVID crap, I mean, nobody's sharing anything because nobody's going and doing anything. Nobody's doing the meetings these Zoom meetings are just no other choice but to do that kind of stuff, I mean, that kind of format, it's better than nothing. But yeah, I think it's really taking a toll on people.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
And I've been reading little pages.
She got a new book the other week.
I actually won this.
She won it.
At our parent group, family parent group.
We never win anything. I won money one time, but we gave it away.
But this is
50-50.
This is an amazing little reader, and it can be sad, it can be, hopeful. But here's one that I really like too. I have a rocky relationship with hope. I've had high hopes, glimmers of hope, not hope in hell. And I've had my hopes dashed. I've hoped against hope, pinned my hopes on a hope that springs eternal. I hope I'm doing things kind of right. I always have hope that my son will really, truly get and stay sober, but addiction has taken its toll on my hope. So hope hurts. My dreams, reality, relationships, bonds, hopes, and expectations. They've all been pulled out from under me like a rug. Tug, tug, tug. So I'm left without much of a foundation for my hope to stand on. I hate hope, but even so, I keep a kernel of hope hidden away, set aside somewhere for some day, although it hurts too much for me to give it a look. Tomorrow, however, is rooted in a tenacious hope. After all, after everything, I don't know the place where hope goes to die because my child is still alive. My love and hope have been thrown out there for my son to catch. And as long as he is breathing, there is hope. He will come boomeranging back to me. While there's life, there's hope, by Marcus Tullius Cicero. But I mean, these are just little stories that are in this book, and it's some of them are really amazing, hopeful things that you just need at that time. You can just fan through it and open it up, and you hear something that you need to. But anybody have any questions, any concerns? Anybody want to call in? Anybody? Eric?
I mean,
Larry?
any topic. I mean, what's something it's eating away at you that you want somebody our opinion on? I mean, you know, don't have to be anything personal or anything, but no, anything currently going on in the recovery world, or something you might have heard, or this or that, or any topic of interest. Feel free, callers.
You can call in. You can put it in the comments. Hey, what's going on with the snow? That's what I want to know, because that's really getting me a little ticked off. One day it's 70, the next day it's 30.
We had like 3 seasons in 1 week. It's awesome.
In one day. Are
One
you
day I'm
kidding?
laying out in the yard in my thong, and then the next day I got a winter coat on and a hat. You know what I mean? It's just some crazy stuff.
It is. It was crazy.
And I'm ready for this summer. I've been secretly using my son's Clearasil all winter, and
Stop. Now
I'm
you're
wearing
taking
that
it
thong.
over.
and
Now you're going overboard.
that visual. Woo-hoo.
So, Liz, did you get the snow? I know Kentucky did get hit with some snow. I was like, crazy. Oh, we've got a caller. I don't hear it, but we have one coming in. Hello, caller.
Hello. What's wrong with pony poop? Isn't that a little more calm than horse shit? You know what I mean?
Funny, the other morning my granddaughter has to go to the bathroom. I said, go tell Daddy you got to make the donuts. Well, big mistake. Now she thinks her father makes donuts when he goes to work. She's saying, go out to do Daddy, you going to make the donuts? I go, oh my God. What did I start?
And the minute you mention the word donut to this child,
Yeah, they're using all these.
that's donuts all day long. That's
So
all
what's
she wants.
going on, Larry? How you been, my friend? How's your uncle?
Well, not too good today. Well, my uncle's all right, but today I had to take a day off. I had to bury a friend today. I was in recovery with me, and my friend for a lot of years. And the thing was, he was only 55, and he had like triple disease. He had cancer, pneumonia, and COVID.
Jesus. Oh my gosh.
The
Yeah,
trifecta, man. Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry to
well,
hear that.
Young man, 55. I mean, geez, I'm gonna be
Yeah,
60
the thing
in
is-
July.
He was always upbeat, always, it was incredible. Even like the last couple of times we talked and he knew he was terminal, he wouldn't get down. He was just so happy, like, the people he met and, the people he touched on in his life. And he was one of my best friends. And it was like, he was so strong. And he was a minister, which is like when we were rooming in the recovery house, it's like, man, total opposite. He's a man of God, and I'm, well...
And I'm the
stuff
Osborne
like
fit.
yeah, so... And we would go back
Prince
and
of
forth,
Darkness.
and yeah, something good would come up, and he says, see, that's God. I say, no, it's just a coincidence. Don't give me that God stuff. And it was just great back and forth. But... it's like the people in recovery. I know the meetings. It's so much better up, person to person. But you got to take what you got there. And if anybody's in recovery and listening, it's life won't wait for you. That's another Ozzy tune. Life won't wait for you. You got to do it now, because look at this guy, 55 years old, but he grabbed every minute, every second. He lived his life with gusto.
Yeah.
And to see that and him being in recovery and being so happy, even though he knew he was going to die. But the thing is like, don't play around. Just don't think, oh, I'll get over this. My addiction, my alcoholism. I could do this. I could take my time. I'm only so much. My age is only this. My age is only that.
Right.
You never know. And the quicker you get to this and do this, the better you'll feel. The better off you are. But
Right. Tomorrow's
yeah,
never
I just-
promised. Whether you're
exactly.
whether
I saw
you
that today.
right, whether you're using, whether you're sober, it doesn't matter. Tomorrow's never promised, and we have to
Yeah.
live our lives to the fullest, because we never know when that bus is going to hit us.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, so I just want to check in and tell people, those in recovery, that don't waste your time.
No.
Don't,
Is
get
this
on
the-
it and get it started, because the sooner you get this, the sooner you work it, the better you're going to feel in the end.
right. Right.
I think when we're younger, we tend to get the feeling that we're invincible. You know what I mean?
But we are.
The younger
Yeah,
people, I mean,
exactly.
you're not thinking about things like we do now. Like, oh, geez, I got a pain in my chest. Geez, I knew this was coming. Oh, it's on the right side. Never mind. Oh, thank God I'm okay. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you start thinking in different parameters when you get older.
You do.
When you're young, you don't.
When
know
you're
what I
young,
mean?
you're gonna, 30's old.
Ah,
You
man,
know,
my body,
I got
my
30
body
years.
can take it.
Yeah,
30's
it's
old,
yeah. I remember those days. 70's young.
I wish I was 2 times 30. That would be young.
Hell, 80's young today.
Yeah, okay.
Now, is this the gentleman we were discussing on Tuesday night in our family group?
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the same person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
guy,
tremendous guy, and I went all the way down to Lewis, Delaware, because the guy meant so much to me.
Wow, yeah, that's a
Me
whole.
and my other friend, we drove all the way down there just to say goodbye, and
Yeah.
it was a real shame. And
And
I'm going to miss the guy a lot, but
Yeah. And there's
it
there's
is what
another
it is.
aspect of recovery. It's becomes a family. You meet friends, you have that connection, and you stay connected. And that's
Yeah.
that's
Then
just
like how many guys would you go through all that you knew in high school they were good friends? You wouldn't go through all that because that poor guy.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Well, my
it's
whole
just-
family now is mostly, I mean,
I know
other
exactly
than
what
my
you're talking
blood
about.
relatives, they're all AA. Yeah, they're all like recovery people.
Same,
Right.
same
That's
with
my
us
world
now.
now. They're
Most of
my
our
people
closest
now.
friends now are all in recovery.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it's like I got more friends in recovery than I have that aren't in recovery.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it is a nice
And I got to tell you, they're more meaningful connections than a lot of people I had than I have with people I've known for 30, 40 years. Like I don't hardly ever
Yeah.
see any of them, but I
right,
see all my recovery friends, quite frequently,
right. And
and I like that.
and the 12-step brings a different aspect to
Yeah,
relationships.
recovery people are more genuine. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they fight to get to stay sober, to stay clean. And it's an effort
But
that's
I mean,
made, and it changes their whole thinking.
It really
Their whole
does.
thinking about the.
I mean, in all aspects, not to like your other friends. We just go through
Hey, Eddie.
formalities. You know, like, hey, how you doing? Oh, good. How you doing? Oh, good. Yeah. Like, you don't give a crap how I'm doing. It's just. That's why I always mess with the women in the bank. You and they go, Mr. Parker, how you doing today? I go, I don't think I've ever been better. And they're like, they don't know what to say to that. I just derails them. It's great. I love it. I do it all the time. Try it.
All right, I'm going to hang up, and maybe somebody else wants to call.
Yes.
You know,
Well,
Larry, it's always a
Sorry.
pleasure here for you. What
Yes.
kind of shirt are you wearing tonight? What band?
I'm wearing an Aussie shirt.
Oh, okay, that's
you
cool.
go.
Well, with that stimulus money, maybe you get yourself a T-shirt press.
Well, it's funny. The thing is, there's a rock and roll memorabilia thing happening downtown Saturday and Sunday, so you know where I'm going tomorrow.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool. That's
I
cool.
know
At a
where
convention
you're going.
center or what?
It's down at the Armory. So
The Armory?
They
Okay.
say it's a punk right, 23rd Street, I think, near Market,
Okay.
South 23rd. So the old Armory's down there.
That sounds cool.
So
Cool.
yeah, there goes that stimulus.
New T-shirts.
Yeah.
Try to find me an original Farrah Fawcett poster. I'll give you the money when I see it.
I don't think they're going to have that
From the
there,
early
but, you know.
70s. Yeah, I got it on the rock and roll. Never mind.
All right, Larry. Sorry about your
All right,
friend. Thanks for
Well,
calling
it's
in.
all right. All right, see you.
See you, Larry. Bye-bye.
Larry was going to be with us tonight on the show, but
Some things came up.
some things came up, and we just wanted to make sure everybody was okay. So we just kind of putting him off for another week. So
I'm filling in. Hello.
hello.
I'm like the Ed McMahon. I'm just there. I'm always on the sidelines. Hey now. Yeah.
Hey now. So, Ed, I'm so happy that you joined us tonight. If you have anything that you want to discuss, please let us know. Pop it in the comments. We'll be happy to discuss it. Give our suggestions. Call in if you want to talk. Give us a call. We're here. We're listening.
We're listening, Seattle.
And we're not in Seattle. But I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
I'll talk about anything. I just need a topic.
A topic. Give us a topic. Any kind of topic. Come on, Eric. You're always good at topics. Come on, Fred.
What are your thoughts on Kratom? All I hear is Kratom, Kratom, Kratom. They got red Kratom and green Kratom for this and that. I'm not a big fan of Kratom.
I didn't even know Kratom was a thing still. I thought that.
Oh, yeah, I still recommend it
Well,
on these questionable pages I go on.
Yeah, I thought that Kratom was a thing of the past now that medical marijuana is quickly
But medical
popping up
marijuana is
everywhere.
very expensive.
Yes, it is. It is very expensive.
which is causing just a bigger run of street marijuana. I was just
Right.
reading there still. So it's not ever going to put them out of commission
No.
because the prices from what I hear, I have no idea, are like off the charts.
Uh-huh.
Unless you pay cash.
Oh, unless you pay cash.
Oh.
So know
See?
that. They give cash discounts at the dispensaries.
Do they?
Interesting.
At the dispensaries?
And you don't need a receipt. That's good.
But is it covered under medical? Is it covered under
What, your
insurance?
prescription plan?
Sometimes.
Wow.
Sometimes. Well, I guess it would be if you suffered from seizure. Is it seizures that?
It all depends on your insurance company.
Yeah.
It could be Parkinson's, seizures and all.
Parkinson's, yeah.
I don't know a lot about it. I don't know if these dispensaries take your insurance or you got to actually go through a pharmacy. I remember the way it used to be years ago when it first started. You would have to have your pharmacist order it for you.
Uh-huh.
This is in the really early years,
Yeah.
experimental times.
Yeah.
You just
It's,
pay $200. You go to the doctor, say you got a headache, they write you a card, and then you go.
Right, I know that whole, but like as far as the product itself, the insurance companies
Depends on
Cover the
insurance
marijuana?
company.
Yeah.
And the level of,
Anybody have any experience with medical marijuana can enlighten us on that, how it works, insurance wise and this and that. Not real. What's the word I'm looking for? Familiar with all that.
Right. But I am interested in seeing how these new things will come about if they do pass the House on allowing, contacting the emergency number.
Oh, well, yeah.
To-
I did hear Philadelphia isn't drug testing you for marijuana anymore. They just passed a law in the city of Philadelphia that they can't hold that against you. As long as you're not a professional driver
Right.
or a government employee,
Well,
they can't not hire you because you test positive for marijuana.
Right.
I don't know. You test positive for being under the influence of alcohol, you go for a job interview.
Yeah.
They can hold that against you, can't they? I don't know.
But they also don't have to hire you.
No, but if they can prove that's why, I mean, that's the
And-
catch. Then you got to prove it.
So you're not going to fire them for the marijuana, but you're going to fire them for something else. So,
Right. But I mean, why would you want to hire impaired people to work at your place? I mean, what they do on their off time is one thing, but they show up for work.
Well, it doesn't really matter because if
I
you
guess-
get medical marijuana, you're not
Yeah,
allowed
I
to
know.
drive
They
a vehicle
prescribe that for
anyway.
everything from ingrown toenails to Parkinson's. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was our producer behind us here saying, I mean, it doesn't matter just paying the $200 and they give you a medical marijuana card or something.
Right. And still, whether you're taking a,
And there's more recreational users out there
Right.
taking advantage of the whole medical marijuana thing than
you take
poor
a,
people are really,
you take
use
a
it.
prescribed opiate, you're not allowed to drive either. I mean, you're still going to get pulled over for a DUI, whether it's a prescription or it's not, because you're not supposed to be operating a vehicle on it. So,
Yeah, but how do they find that on a field sobriety test? It has
Well-
no odor.
well, no, but if there's a reason to believe,
You're acting impaired.
Then-
I mean, they would have to
right.
draw blood.
they would draw blood, whatever. So, you're operating a forklift and something happens, you're automatically taken in
tested.
for a test with OSHA today. So it's it's
This is true.
getting a lot tougher for people that are suffering from things that it's important for them to have these medications and really getting hit with not being able to get it because the hoops you have to jump through today to get them. And it's good because they have been so misused.
I don't think anything that starts out good ends up being misused and it becomes different. I mean, opiates were originally designed for the good. I said it before. They were your strong opiates like oxycodone, oxycontin, and all morphines. They were for major surgeries to help you recover, the body recover, to get over the hump. They were for end-of-life hospice patients. They were for battlefield injuries and such. I mean, they're a great tool, a great product to help the body get over the hump to heal itself. But
Yeah.
you got people that are on OxyContin for 30 years. It's ridiculous. It was never meant to be like that.
Right.
So we became a whole nation abusing opiates. We're an abusive society.
Yes.
Really abuse everything. It starts out a couple drinks here and there for a holiday or something. Then next thing you know, we're drinking every damn day. All day. It's there's some people that just can't help themselves.
Right. And a lot and today a lot of people that are just getting into this, they're just finding out that their loved one has a problem. It's just a phase. They'll get over it.
Right.
They'll get
How many times have we
past it.
heard that? It's just a phase.
It's
They're
a
getting
phase,
older.
And look what we did when we were younger. Like,
Yep.
it's a phase. Like, today's drugs are not a
And we
phase.
just
Today's
make
drugs,
excuses for them.
Yeah, today's drugs are definitely addictive. And even a person maybe without an addictive brain can be controlled with the more, because your body builds those levels up, and you have to keep catching up with those levels. And I mean, you get put on these prescriptions, you have to be weaned off. You can't
Just can't stop.
You just can't
Cold
just
turkey, I
stop
mean.
it.
You might be on it for a month. You're like, you know what? I don't need these anymore. You can't just stop taking them.
No.
You have to wean yourself down. And I don't think doctors make that clear enough to you.
No.
And that's where luckily pharmacists can kick in
Right.
and get you up to speed on it.
Right. And that is true, because you know, a lot of people will go talk to their doctors, and you may have 3 different doctors. I mean, thank God they're all linking into the same programs today, but it's your pharmacist that's going to catch it. And
It always pays to have a good relationship with your pharmacist.
yes, I know when I was on my medication, when I was first diagnosed with the fibromyalgia, I did not like the feeling. It made me ill. It didn't get me high at all. I didn't want any part of it, but the pain was so bad that they put me on some heavy medication. And I remember her saying, "How are you feeling?" And I said, "I feel like crap. It's like July and I think I have the flu." And she was like, "Did they change your medication?" And I said, "No, I stopped taking it. I don't like it." And she was like, "Well, that's your problem." So she put me back on. She was like, "Start back on it, and then we'll taper off, just like a quarter a week, until I was completely off of it and went all natural." So it doesn't matter who you are on this medication, but any type of medication, some of blood pressure, you just can't stop taking it. You have to taper off. And that could cause some problems. So depending on how long you've been on the medication, you have to be careful coming off of it. You lose your job, you lose your medical, you lose your prescription plan, and people just stop and they get deathly ill, or they suffer other problems because they've just stopped taking their medication. So
I stopped taking my Fat Burner 500. I blew up like a house.
It caused them to eat so much.
The guy at the Sunoco said it was totally safe. It was right there next to the gum.
But that's important that we really, talk to our doctors when we're getting medication, because I know when I first got hit with the fibromyalgia, it was just, the pain was so severe. I remember going to the doctor's office screaming, and they were like, "Why are you here?" I was like, "I'm in pain. I need help." And they were like, "Get to the ER, because we can't help you with that kind of pain. That's just not going to be something we can help you with."
Something they're afraid to help you with now.
Yeah, they won't even help you. You have to go to pain management,
Yeah.
or you have to go to a psychiatrist now. It's just crazy. So they said,
Oh my God.
when you are
Gotta go to
in,
psychiatrist. It's crazy. That's why.
yeah, but I remember them saying, "We can't help you in that condition." And a friend of my son's had taken me to the doctors, because I was in so much pain I couldn't drive, and they were like, they said they can't. They put me in the car. They were like, "Just go out in the car and scream, because you're really upsetting the other patients." So I remember her coming out and saying, "Listen, they said they can't see you. You have to go to the ER." And I did. I went right to the ER. And when you're in that kind of pain, do you think you're sitting there, "Oh, this could be addictive. This could be this. This could be that"? Like, no. Give me a pill, make it stop, and you're all better. And that's kind of the craziest thing, because
Excuse me for a moment. I gotta get another water. Oh.
get me one. But That's like one of the craziest things, because when you're in that kind of pain, you don't think about it. You just want it to go away. So whatever can get it away the fastest. And oh, it's kind of weird going to talk to him and he's not there. But it's great. You just don't think about that kind of stuff. You just want the pain to be gone, and you'll take whatever is given. I don't care if it's a chiropractor or acupuncture. Oh, I don't care where you're at. You'll take whatever you're put into just to get rid of the pain. So, everybody says it's a choice. Addiction is a choice. And I'll be the first to say, yeah, you chose to take that prescription. You chose to pick up that drink. You chose to pick up that drink knowing your family history. But that family history doesn't come into play because you're smarter than that and you know better, and you're not going to let it become an addiction. Somebody once said that you choose to use, but addiction chooses you. Some of us can go to the bar and drink and get totally hammered and, sleep off a hangover. But then others go and don't want to sleep off that hangover. They want that feeling to be gone, so they drink again until it becomes the everyday thing over and over again. So we just have to be careful. And how do we talk to our loved ones that are too young to drink? How do we stop that from occurring once they're old enough to go to the bar, or in their teenage years and they go to, what are they, keggers in the down the creek? Like, how do you explain to them? You can explain it all you want, that, listen, I know you're going to be experimenting. You're going to want to drink when you hit 21. You're going to want to drink with your buddies down at the creek because, that's what some groups do. But your family history will possibly...
When I was a small child, I had my own little beer mug. This little pewter stainless steel little thing I got, and they put like a couple little sips of beer in it there. I'm talking like 8 years old, maybe. It was a different time back then. Yeah, I had my own little tiny like pewter beer mug, and that's great. Yeah.
And just so you know, we still have that pewter little beer mug, and I throw keys in it. It
was a different time back then.
But it was. It was. Cripes, you'd had a toothache and you got whiskey on your gums. Like, that's
Right.
They didn't have all this craziness that's out
Now
there
it
today.
would be child abuse.
Yeah.
You'd have diapers at your door. Different world. Just reading the comments. I don't miss nothing.
Okay, Eric's got something, but...
He was having some... What is the name of the share that with you picking up those heroin addicts, Frankie? And I don't remember the hot chick. That was the F heroin people.
Yeah, that was...
On the show. What was that show they had, Rich called on cable?
Oh, gosh, what...
Frankie and that the hot chick is her... What's it?
Allie,
Yeah.
Servino. Allie Servino is the hot chick, Eric, and Frankie. And it was...
Holmes Franklin.
Well, it was supposed to be called Fuck Heroin, but they changed
Yeah, it's
Well, their show. They had the show. We don't know what happened to the show. If that's what you're asking.
it's the show he wants to know, but
I just remember what it's supposed to be called, but
it's
Vice didn't let him use it.
Right.
Vice changed the name.
right, and I forget the name of it. I'm looking for it. But yeah, that was an eye-opening show as well. There's a lot of stuff out there that's very eye-opening. We were at our first in-person meeting, not this month, but the month before, and they shared a show. What was it? I can't remember the name of the show, but I was like, oh, I want to see that. I want to see what it
Dope
was.
Sick Nation was.
Dope
I think
Sick Nation.
That's what Frankie and
that's what
what's her name were.
Yeah.
I know
There
what
you
you
go,
think of it.
Eric. Dope Sick Nation.
I'm getting older. I had to think for a minute.
First thing that goes.
And Richard used to hang out with Frankie out in Florida. I mean, he knows him well, Holmes.
Yeah.
And the F Heroin Foundation. And
Every day, all day.
we met Frankie's mother. Me and Lori did it.
Mm-hmm. I appeared on her show, actually, which
We met her at somewhere down.
we were
Delaware
at
County. It
the
was a walk, some kind of walk.
King's Crusades,
Something.
King's Crusaders in
Mama Duke, she's a real nice
Yep,
lady. She's
Mama
super
Duke's,
nice.
yeah.
Richard used to go eat dinner over her house in Florida all the time.
yeah. But yeah, like I was saying, it's you can tell your kids all you want. You can tell anybody that's just getting to that age where they're experimenting and they're trying things out that they shouldn't be drinking or smoking marijuana, the mild stuff, because of the family history. The family history will take you down. But try and explain that to somebody that's young and feels that it won't happen to them. So how do we get that across to our
When
kids
they're younger,
today?
it's like that time I walked in on our son without knocking on the door, and I said, "Son, stop doing that. You'll go blind." And he said, "Dad, I'm over here." So
But,
these things happen.
You have to. And what's the answer? I don't know. Everything's so proactive of, just say no, or dare. Oh my gosh! Don't get me started on dare.
It's different now. Drugs are so much more socially acceptable in circles now. It's like where it was a little more taboo in our time, especially heroin. Heroin becomes it's mainstream everyday stuff. I mean, it's not like we were younger. Like everybody's partying and running around. Like the heroin people all kind of stuck to themselves. They were kind of the taboo group. You didn't bring it up. You didn't talk about it with them. You knew they were doing it, but they weren't doing it around you. And you find out once one would take a turn for the worse. But not like today. My God. It's just taking so many people. It's not even funny.
Yeah,
It's horrible.
and right now it's just every day these pages. It's just another R.I.P. 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 It's just.
I mean, and everything's
horrible.
tainted with fentanyl. I mean, even the synthetic marijuana, the spice and all the slipping fentanyl into that, people are dying. You think you don't know what they spend. They're putting it in the cocaine. They're putting it in the pills. I mean, just hoping, maybe not as much. They don't want to kill you. They want to get you hooked on fentanyl.
And
Whereas they used to put it in the heroin just to make everybody think it was the good stuff, the stronger stuff.
yeah,
A couple people died. Everybody's going to run and gravitate to the good stuff. Well, that's how it all started. But now they're putting in so many products. It's
Yeah.
just they want to get you hooked on fentanyl, man, because it's even more highly addictive than heroin.
American Relapse was the other one. The American Relapse was the like the short stories. It was kind of like the trailer of Dope Sick Nation. Dope Sick. Let's see. American Relapse
Relapse was the
was the
independent
movie.
film.
Was the
independent film.
movie.
They cut it up and turned it into
Okay. Yeah.
for the TV.
Right. So it was both
And what was the show? It was every week that would show people through their progress. They would have the intervention. Was it
intervention.
called intervention? Yeah.
Intervention was a great show. There is a new movie coming out that I'm dying to see.
It was a great show, but it was so misleading. They had got everybody thinking that these interventions like work all the time, when in reality, that's not really the case. They got people's hopes up too much. So like everybody would try to get their child into a rehab or something. Well, we want to do an intervention. Everybody wanted to try the intervention thing. Like, oh my goodness.
I was in a house though with the one guy that was on it.
Right.
It was all shady, the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, and I won't go into it because I'm just gonna stop. I'm done.
Not me. I'm gonna keep it up.
No, I won't even tell you what I was brought into. But
Well, you were contacted.
I don't want to
Nah,
get in.
screw them. I don't give a shit. See if you would, for one of these shows that was coming out, Laura's contacted. They wanted her to find people that they could put on the show and exploit, for lack of better terms. And Laura just said, "Nah, I don't really feel comfortable in that.
Yeah.
It's not real about because we see what's going on there, exploiting people's addiction just to get ratings." Right.
Well, it was just a matter of, can you get me people?
Right, bodies.
And
Yeah.
don't tell the families.
Yeah, don't tell them what it's about. We'll tell them afterwards.
Then I was just like, no,
The people will be all piling on when they get their child on there, which
I couldn't do that. Like, I'm here to help people. I'm
Right.
not here to,
exploit them.
ambush them in any way. So I just couldn't bring myself to do that. And, and interventions, they work for some. They work for some people, not everything is, black and white. Sometimes you get desperate and,
I mean, I find that when you ambush people with these interventions, 9 out of 10 times they're going to get up and walk out and be furious because it's just too much pressure at one time. But when you sit there, you see your whole family, people you haven't seen for years, all sitting in a room. Like, it would be overwhelming for me
yeah, I would be
for something, let alone.
I mean, I don't know what they would probably, because I am bitchy sometimes, so they might have an intervention.
I've yet to see that side of her. Oh, give me water. No,
But it's crazy. I think the best part is just getting your education on addiction. That's whether you're reading books, whether you're going to, if we ever get back to events and like town hall meetings and things at the schools, until that starts back. People are lost out there. They don't know where to turn when they find out their loved one is having an issue, and alcoholism is becoming very, very bad right now. It's always been bad.
when you don't have nowhere to go and you're sitting home and you're depressed, and it kind of numbs you,
Yeah.
It starts out innocent enough, and
You're working from home. The kids are screaming in the background and fighting because they don't want to do their Zoom class. And
it's funny to see so many people joke about it, and like I could still say, "Oh my God, I need a glass of wine just to get by with these kids," and like. We said these are people that aren't in addiction. Like we sit there, we read that, and you just look at it in a different light now that we deal with
Right.
so many people and recover. Like, oh my God, you don't know what you're really saying and how you sound. And I can see past that. I don't take everything so serious.
right. But people they're secluded. They're working from home. They're not leaving the house. They're not, the most they're doing is putting a mask on and going food shopping or getting, things that you need, because clothing is important at this time, because we're all eating ourselves to death and needing bigger clothes because of this
I was a
isolation.
32 waist before this pandemic.
Yeah. So, you're isolated. You don't get that time with your friends, with your family. Everybody's so afraid to get together, and it's just, depression sets in, and let's have a beer. Let's have a
Glass
drink.
of wine and binge watch a show. Next thing you know, you have another glass of wine.
Next thing, it's the
Now,
bottle of wine.
a year later, it becomes the norm. It becomes the habit. And
But it's
it is
becoming,
innocent as that.
Yeah, it's becoming an issue.
Because you don't have anything
Yeah,
to answer to get up for work.
Yeah.
So what's the harm? I'm home in my house. Who am I hurting?
and do you
Not-
remember before this COVID, the opiate crisis? How it was an epidemic and we had such a problem with it. We don't hear anything
Yeah, now
it's all
everything's COVID.
And
And that's for a lot of reasons.
we're not hearing how many people are, and unfortunately, this is a show of hope, but
Maybe we should do a COVID show too.
yeah, no, that ain't gonna happen. But it's important that we reach out to people, especially people that we know that suffers from depression or anxiety, that we're reaching out to them. And we're not just texting, that we're picking up the phone and saying,
maybe just touch
what's going
base
on?
with your friends,
How
you know,
are
that
you
are-
feeling? Do you want to
That
talk?
are vulnerable.
Guess what I did today? I woke up and I had a bowl of cereal and I binge watched anything. I made a quilt, something, just to show that there are people out there, that they are there and they are listening, and they're there to get them through the day if they need to, because it's just really tough right now. And alcohol has always been a bigger problem than heroin.
That's because
Your
not everybody
pills.
looks at alcohol as a drug.
Right.
It's legal.
Right.
It's not a drug. It's alcohol. What are you
Right.
talking about?
Exactly.
I go anywhere and get it there. You're crazy.
Yeah. So, you just have to be proactive in helping those that you think might be struggling and needing some help.
Yeah, we all know that vulnerable person, that was
Yeah.
always been a little on the depressed side before all this and all that. Maybe we should start reaching out and
Be nice
Touch
if
your base.
Betty Ann called me every
Catch
now and
up
again.
on all
I'm always
sides.
so sad.
well,
But
she can't help it. She's married to that miserable man. I would be like my best friend with that.
But it is. I mean, we have to be proactive in helping people. Suicide is so bad right now. Abuse, domestic abuse is so bad right now. So we need to just really be mindful of what's going on around us. Because we're behind those closed doors. The closed doors are just hurting a lot of people. So
Yeah, it's put a strain on relationships. I mean,
yes,
some of us aren't so used to being around each other so much.
yes.
Thank God I go to work every day.
Some people go to work really late in the afternoon and are home all the time anymore. So, that they're working from home. That's what they do. They're on the computer. Now all the kids are on the
If
computer.
I could find a way to drive my truck from home, I would do it.
But reach out and just keep reaching out, because people need help right now. It's a scary time for everybody. And now the big thing is separation from your pets. Your pets are going to be going through anxiety
Separation
and
disorder?
separation.
I'm going to send the dogs to the shrink.
Yeah.
Give me Caesar's number. Oh my God! And they come up with a new ailment every day.
Yeah.
COVID arm. Everybody got a COVID arm for these vaccinations. Suffering from a severe case of COVID arm.
COVID arm binge watching your TV.
I got binge watching bed sores.
Yeah. Well, next week we are going to have a good show.
Yes, we'll be a lot more entertaining next week.
Yeah.
And anybody out there that wants to call in and tell their story any week, I mean, you could tell your story over the phone line
Yeah.
if you feel comfortable enough. I mean, we're always, looking for people to share their story. You could call in. I don't care if you tie it up for an hour. You know, I mean, that's always a thing.
Yeah.
And anybody that's local that wants to come in and tell their story, hit us up.
And
We'll bring you to our beautiful abode here. It's our
and-
beautiful studio here, the Forsaken Studios.
please share out, because you never know who
So nice to
could,
let us use.
you never know who could use some hope and inspiration. I hope that I can bring you hope, and just feel that you can feel comfortable when you need
But
to
the show's
talk.
lacking energy tonight. It's like really
It is.
laid back. We
I'm
need
used to having guests now.
need some
It's
music or
crazy.
something.
Yeah.
Richard,
I'm used to having
plug in a
guests.
guitar, son. Play us some music.
But yeah, I'm used to having guests now, so it was kind of nice not having to do all the talking.
And Betty Ann's having a problem with LB. He's getting a little the anxiety disorder when she goes out because she likes her better than her husband, which I can't blame that dog. That dog flocked to me the other week. Never met me. You would have think I knew that dog 100 years.
Yes, but
But he's a good friend of mine. He's just he's very moody. Very moody.
that's why they get along so well. I just want everybody to know that just because the show ends at 10:30 does not mean you can't reach out at 267-737-8031 if you need to talk.
The hotline.
You need to
That's what we need to put up our hotline.
just have somebody listen. That's what I'm here for. That's what I try to do for our hour and a half during the show. So please feel free to share the number with anybody that you know that could be struggling, that needs to talk to somebody that's been there, done that, and has the t-shirt to prove it, and the hoodie, and the pens, and the stickers, the chip clips. We have it all. So just give us a holler. Share this out. And look forward to talking recovery houses next week, next Friday. A lot of family members have questions regarding the recovery houses. If you have done some time in a recovery house, please feel free to share in the comments next week. Just to help the next person.
Yeah, I mean, we want to go over the pros and cons of the recovery houses. I mean, we're not bashing them by any means. We just want to
No.
explain them
No.
so people understand what the functionality of a recovery house is, what they expect out of a recovery house, and stuff. Which a lot of people are misled on what they do, what they're about. Where
Right.
actually it's a structured type of living, with your own peers in recovery, in which you gain strength from your other peers and. Certain rules are more easily enforced in that type of atmosphere than at home.
Right. And like John said last week, you have to take it as a different perspective than the recovery house. Maybe, frat lifestyle without the alcohol. Just
Right.
because you're not going to get your own room. You're not going to get a mint on a pillow. You're not going to get the little towel animals left on your bed. I mean, you're there to learn life lessons and how to proceed into life after addiction. So, some people go in there, they don't know how to do laundry. They don't know how to balance a checkbook. They don't know how to do anything. And these are life skills that you may be learning in some of these houses. So make sure that you, do your homework too. It's important that we do our homework when, we're thinking about our life.
And there's a whole lot more to recovery than just not doing something.
Right.
I mean, it's much more complicated than that, and that's what the show's devoted to show you the other sides of recovery.
Good luck
In a
there.
nice structured format, professional format.
Good luck
I'm your
there,
commentator,
Eric.
Pappy.
I hope that you knew that was X-Lax and not eating a bar of chocolate. So you have a good night. Peace out, honey. Okay, everybody, we're winding down.
Is it that time?
It's 10:28, and
Oh my goodness, it flew by. You
Richard's going to play us out. If you guys have any questions and
you guys have been great
concerns,
guests, let me tell you, all of you.
Call
I
us.
appreciate all you out there.
Thanks for calling, Larry. You're always
Larry's our icebreaker. It's like
Yeah.
when I'm DJing an event, we've got to get that one person out there to dance and get everybody else dancing.
yeah.
Larry, I got an event tomorrow. If you're free to dance, I'm doing a first communion party tomorrow, an outdoor venue.
No, he's going to be down the city getting his new.
Oh, that's right. He's gonna be getting his Beatle wig.
T-shirts. Yeah. So everybody have a good night. If you need me, call me. I'm here. And next week we will be with Mickey from Emily House. And everybody be safe. See you
Feel free to
next
tune in, right?
Friday.
Remember, recovery works if you work it.
Yep. Peace out.
having an old friend for dinner.